Hello, Your Excellency. It's the Money Mindset with Razak. How are you? Hope you're good. Yeah. Today, I will be talking about your future. But I'm sure you'll be asking, what exactly is the future I'm talking about? Hold on. Last week, I talked about you self-evaluating yourself. If you missed that episode, please go back and watch it. Yeah, it's actually one of the best ways you can evaluate and assess your personal finance. Just go to the last episode and you'll be able to watch it. But today, I want to really focus about your children and you. What exactly are you doing to protect the future of your children when it comes to personal finance? Remember, I said something during the last episode that if you have children, paying children's school fee could be one of those things that could really affect your finances. So I'll be sharing some powerful tips that I think could really help you teach yourself, but also your children, how to be financially savvy. And it starts from childhood. Growing up for me, I have a mother who is a very strong entrepreneur, but what my mom taught me is just the principle of saving and never taught me the principle of investment. Did you teach your children how to save? But not that. Did you teach your children how to be accountable? And did you teach your children how to invest? Let's talk about some of the tips you can use in helping your children to learn about this. I did same for my child and I think it really helped. Number one, once upon a time, I decided to buy a pot of flour for my child. I taught him that every weekend, and at least twice in a week, when he comes back from school in the evening, you should learn to water that flour. Over a period of time, my son realized how the flour is growing. And that the question on his mind, like, how possible this grows over a period of time? He was so amazed. But what I was teaching my son is not just to grow flour because of the environment alone. I was also teaching him the principle of delay gratification. I was teaching him that if you pay times over a period of time and you invest and you are patient, then you will see things that you nurture growing. You see, one of the biggest problems that you are facing today is not because you don't know how to save, it's because you don't know how to compound your money. Over a period of time, when you nurture and save things, you must learn the principle of compounding. If you don't know that, just check it out on Google. The principle of compounding. What many people want to do is they want 60% return on investment over an investment in 6 months, in 3 months, in 1 year. Am I saying this bad? No. But one of the first things you must learn when it comes to investment is that high interest gives high risk. Low interest means low risk. So if you have the mindset that you want to get 60-70% on an investment, you invest in a small company that is just growing and you are asking that young entrepreneur to give you 50-60% interest, that business is going to collapse pretty soon. It's not a cost. It's just a fundamental principle because you don't learn the art of compounding. Do you hear that? The second thing I did to my child recently is I told them every month I'll be giving you pocket money. So when we go out, I will not be the one to give you money from my pockets. So what I did was pretty simple. I bought him a book and a pen. And I said, for every time you spend money, you have to write it down. So when you go to church or mosque, I'm a Muslim, and I mean you go out, you buy things at ShopRite. From that money, you come back home and you write down, I have spent XYZ. Remember, you will not get another one until the month end. So if you spend all the money you have in one day by buying biscuits and sweets and drinks, that's it. What I was teaching that boy, it's the principle of accountability. Do you hear that? The principle of accountability. How accountable are you with your resources? I laugh a lot of time when you are talking about the leaders, that they are not accountable with the resources they have, that they spend money lavishly, that they do things the way they like, that you invite them to events and they come 1 hour after the event have started. You, how accountable are we to your time? Because if you are not accountable with your resources, how dare are you holding other people accountable? You earn money every month. Do you write it down? Do you have a budgeting template? For every time you spend, are you taking notes? They send you your bank statement at the end of the month. Do you reconcile and see? When they put that box in your banking app for you to put remarks, the essence is for you to be able to take note of what you're spending on. It's not just there for the sake of fun, although it could be optional depending on the banking app you use, but it helps you to kind of take a stock of what you spend money on at the end of the month when you receive that banking statement. So the second thing I want to ask you today, how accountable are you? And you can teach your children to be accountable as well, but it starts from you. Number 3, every time you scream, I am working because of you. Every month this is I'm working just for you guys. But God forbid, as we typically say in Africa, but God forbid, as we typically say in Nigeria, you travel and one day there is a road accident. What happened to you? If you die today, will your children still be able to acquire the same level of education you want them to acquire? That's a big question, and I really want you to reflect about it. What I've come to realize is that we are not protecting the future of our children. One simple way you can do that is to start with education trust fund or education insurance. I'm not going to talk about any insurance company, but walk up to any insurance company and ask them about education savings, education insurance savings. Probably one of these days I'm going to bring someone to talk deeper about it, but I'm going to give you some insight about how it works. And that's why you're watching The Money Mindset with Razak, right? So when it comes to education insurance, this is how it works. There are what we call education savings insurance, and I think that might be a good way for you to start. For example, you have an unborn child, or you just have a child who is just 5-6 years, and you feel in a matter of 5 years your child will be out of primary school and you want to protect their future. So ask yourself, how much would that child need for that education? Let's, for example, say 20 million. What you then need to do is to ask, what period of time do you need to save up this money just to protect the future of that child? When you do that, averagely, what the insurance company do is to ask you to pay certain premium amount every month, quarterly, biannually, or annually. My best advice to you is learn to do something at least quarterly or biannual. Please do not do monthly premium. When you save that XYZ amount, so let's give example. You want 12 million and you decide to choose 9 years. At least from many insurance companies, what they will ask you to pay on a biannual estimate will be something around 551,000 naira. What that looks like is that over a period of 9 years, you would have saved about 9.9 million. But the compound interest grows it to 12 million. But it's not about the interest. It's not that significant. This is what it's about. If anything happened to you today, after starting that education insurance savings for your child, you are rest assured that 12 million naira is waiting for your child's education. And this happened to me. I know a friend who died, and we're thinking all about how do we contribute for our daughter. But the reality is, we never contributed a dime. She had education insurance savings for her children, and that is what is catering for them. So stop saying God forbid. Eventuality would always happen. It's inevitable for human. What you can do is to mitigate and transfer that risk to another party, and that's why you have education savings or education trust fund. Let me recap those 3 things that I've mentioned on this episode. Number 1, using the principle of planting flowers and teaching your children how that could grow. But it's not just about your children. You can do the same thing for yourself and see how it grows over a period of time. You just tell you when you nurture something and you pay attention and do your bit, the principle of compounding is very, very powerful, and it's one way for you to teach yourself and your children delay gratification. Number 2 is the principle of writing, taking note, giving your child a note and ask Imam her to write down every amount he or she spent. You can do the same for yourself. There are apps that enables you to kind of put your expense tracker. Accountability is very fundamental. Are you accountable? If you're not accountable, then your personal finance is going to be very, very poor. Number 3, investing in education savings insurance and education trust fund. You need to do this and protect the future of those children you think you are working for. If you're not doing that, you're not protecting any future for them. If anything happened to you, what will happen to those children? It's a money mindset with Razak, and I'm going to hang on for this episode today here and hope this makes a lot of sense. If yes, hit the subscribe button and share with your friend. Hello, Your Excellency.